We're going to look at Canon's 10 to 22 millimeter super wide lens. Now this lens is an EFS lens. It's not a full frame lens, but it's also a rectilinear lens, a fairly rectilinear lens, meaning the lines are pretty straight. It's not a fisheye. It doesn't have that fisheye type look. Now, of course, it is an autofocus lens, and as you would imagine, there's no iris ring in back. Up here is our focus, and again, as typical with most autofocus lenses, it does give us some soft stops, faintly, very faint soft stops, and of course the zooms in front. So let's take a look at some of the characteristics of this lens when we use it in video. So we're going to look at bokeh first, and let's go to close focus at 22 millimeters, and we can see our work lights and back are nice and round as expected because the lens is wide open. But the flare is pretty well controlled at 22. And let's drop it down, 5.6, still nice and round. Nothing new here. And here at f8, again, nice round circular out of focus areas in the background with those work lights. f11, no change. Continuing to see good flare control with this lens. And now we're going to look at 10 millimeters wide open. We're at near focus, and things are nice and round, no change in characteristics in the bokeh in the background. Okay, 5.6, and I don't expect it to change, as we go through this lens. f8. And finally, f11. Again, no real change. But, at 10 millimeters, again, this lens does have very good flare control. And now we'll look at some breathing characteristics, again, with our COVID-compliant friend. And it does definitely breathe. Not a lot, but this lens does breathe. And it looks like as you go to close focus, it zooms out, actually, and going to distance, it's zooming in slightly. So that's what this lens wants to do. Now, if we take a look at our checkerboard pattern, it's easier to see. Now we're going to distance, a little zoom in. Now we're going out to close focus, and a zoom out, zoom in, going to infinity. Now, when we look at distortion at 22 millimeters, it's actually pretty flat. I mean, maybe just a hint of barrel distortion, but it looks actually pretty good on my computer. Now, when we get to 10 millimeters, yeah, we're definitely getting a little bit of barrel distortion, but as you can see, it's not terrible. It's really surprising, 10 millimeters, and that was distortion. So here we are at 22 millimeters, checking flare, and as expected, very good flare control. We do see some of the floating orbs, some of the ghosting. We do see the round, the outside sphere along the bottom over here, but overall, very good flare control. We didn't completely go to white on the lens from that bright light. Not bad. So this lens from Canon, the 10 to 22, this has become a real surprise. It certainly wasn't on my radar, and I was looking actually for Tokina's 11 to 16, and the salesman at my regional camera shop, he's recommended I just take a look at this lens, and when I put it on my camera, C300 Mark II at the time, I was surprised at the performance, at the quality of the image on the lens. Again, it has very good flare control, it has good halation control, and it's somewhat rectilinear. It's pretty straight. Now, this is not a lens that I use in every job, of course. 10 millimeters, 10 to 22, that is a very wide lens for Super 35, but it's been just great to have in the bag if I ever need, to just get that big wide shot. Just say we're doing an interior, we just need that, try to capture, a large area or a confined area, and this has been great for that. So, Canon's 10 to 22 millimeter super wide zoom lens. I think it works great in video. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.